Folks, welcome back to the show. Craig Shelton right here. This is Big Richard Walker. We are HMW. And we want to encourage you to always go check out that website, HoustonMediaWatch.com. We know that we did pull down a couple of pages on the blog this week for maintenance purposes. You can blame me for that. But we're trying to improve some things. And what we want to be able to do is not only encourage you to go to the blog, but we want to give you reasons to go and more reasons to go. And what I want to do is find a way to improve getting real-time events to you folks. So when you see us on Twitter, you see us on Facebook saying, hey, we're on our way to a particular event, or we're about to record this or tape that, we want to be able to get you some of that content real-time. And so we're trying to make a few improvements to the podcast page for the Cutt TV show. And definitely, you want to check the blog every day because we've always got content with new blogs and things like that. So definitely, just we appreciate the follow, but to get even more intense about keeping up with HoustonMediaWatch.com, make sure every week you go there and you check the power rankings for the local sports talk hosts. We do a lot of different types of rankings. This past week, we did a ranking of the most trustworthy football minds. We know it's football season. You know, a lot of you people take your football very serious, as we do.
Yep.
You get very irritated when you get bad information, as we do. You get very irritated when you hear people talk football and talk about people should lose jobs that don't know the game like we do. So, like I say, keep up with Houston Media Watch. Go to that blog and know what's going on with us at all times, because we're trying to find better ways to serve you, the public, all right? How about that for some shameless promoting of the blog? We can do that.
No shame.
Because it's actually our TV show.
Yeah.
So really it's not this shameless.
No.
It's very necessary.
Yeah.
We finished out the first segment and we sort of, we talked a little bit about the Case Keenum situation. There's no debate here. You folks have heard it all. No reason to overthink anything.
Nope. Pretty
Case Keenum did more for the quarterback position in one game than anyone has done in the entire history of the not season. Let's be honest. In the entire history of the program, because David Carr was a dink and dunk quarterback.
David Carr was a dink and dunk?
He was. How dare I curse the legacy of David Carr? But David Carr, beautiful hair, magnificent gloves. I'm frolically challenged, as Barry Warner says. I'd flip my hair in the name of David Carr. But let's be honest. He was a dink and dunk quarterback who was gun shy from being beat up for so many years. He wasn't going to hold the ball long enough to do anything but hit a hot route. Matt Schaub has been very frustrating. It's frustrating to watch NFL football on a Sunday. And I'll tell you people a very real story. After watching the Chiefs play the Texans last week, and the Texans, of course, lose that game by 1 point, very well played game in a lot of aspects for the Texans, not including special teams, but well played game in a lot of areas, including quarterback. And I watched the game. I had my emotions like everyone else had their emotions. And then the night went on, and I started to watch Sports Center. I want to get caught up on the scores. I like to check in between the NFL channel and ESPN. And I'm watching the highlights of all these games around the league. And I didn't feel the normal frustration that I normally feel. Because normally I tune in and I see all these people throwing down the field, throwing in the end zone, throwing to their big play receiver, giving them opportunities to make plays. And I was like, wow, hey, we just did that. We
advanced beyond the Tecmo Bowl.
We threw a deep ball in the end zone for a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins this week. We hit Andre en route. He got yak yards after the catch.
He doesn't have to catch punts anymore?
DeVille Posey had yak yards after a catch because our quarterback made timely, accurate throws. Matt Schaub's not accurate. Stop saying that. You're pissing me off. He's not accurate. Stop saying
5 yards he is.
How many times have you seen somebody catch a Matt Schaub pass and keep running with it?
You talking about offensively or defensively?
Well, offensively. Normally, Owen Daniels is diving for the ball, falling down for it, or Andre's waiting on it. Matt Schaub's not an accurate passer. Where'd that come from? Where did that come from? Who started that? Which sports talk host said it? Point him out. I'll punch him in the face. Which point him out to me. Case Keenum. It's simple, Richard. Am I losing my mind?
Nope.
Is it gone?
Pretty straightforward. At this
Has my
point,
brain been rescinded by the good Lord?
no. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious. It's pretty straightforward. Now, we're of course we're speaking in two different two different sets of mindsets here, so to speak. So there's the 99.9% of us who saw the game in Kansas City. We saw the fact that, like you said, you have a more dynamic offense. You can stretch the field. You can do some different things. Yeah, at times Case, look young, but I mean, you expect that.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take anything.
I'd rather have inexperience than foolishness.
I'll take anything Case struggled with,
Right.
and trade that for what a guy who's been in the system 6-7 years,
Right.
is struggling with.
Right.
Because, bless his heart, that's all he has to work with.
Yeah.
See, we don't know what Case has to work with
Right.
yet on this level, as far as how far is high for him,
Right.
and how much more he can be coached once he reaches his peak.
Right.
I think we know what coaching does to Matt Shaw, and we've seen that peak. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
so look, going out of the last segment, at the end of the first segment, we told you when we came back, and I believe that this is probably going to bleed over into the third segment.
Yep.
Because what I'm about to say to you is not going to sit well with most of you.
Uh-oh.
So what I'm going to do is, right now, you're not looking at Craig Shelton. Now, I know you're sitting there, and I know you're thinking,
I feel
hey,
the
Craig,
heat.
come on.
I feel the heat.
You started the show, you said your name was Craig Shelton, and no one is taking your place. What do you mean I'm not looking at you? For a moment, I want you to imagine that I'm a former NFL defensive lineman, what, 300 and some pounds?
Yeah.
310? 25?
You need to keep going.
350? Okay, 365? No.
Been a few been a few donuts and fried chicken.
Former Houston Texan and former Charger defensive lineman, Travis Johnson, my boy. Me and Travis good people. You know what I mean? I get along well with the defensive linemen. Indy Kalu, Travis Johnson, and with a mouth like this, you wouldn't think I'd get along with the guys that break faces.
Right.
But I do all right with them, all right? I keep it real. Now, I'm gonna put Travis out there, and then I'm gonna come save him. I'm going to come down and save him like Jesus. I'm gonna save you, Travis. Okay. So imagine I'm Travis. Imagine I'm bigger than Richard Walker, wider, more girth. Okay. And I'm sitting here, and I look you in the eyes, and I say to you, J.J. Watt is not the Texans' best defensive lineman. I'm sorry. You see, technique-wise, this is not Craig talking, it's Trevor. Technique-wise, and I've talked to other people in football. Remember, folks, this Travis talking. I've talked to other folks and people that played the game and know the game, and they agree that Antonio Smith, the Ninja, is the Texans' best defensive lineman technique-wise. Better than J.J. Watt. Okay, feel free to imagine.
Did you feel that?
Craig is back. Now, it's me now.
Oof.
Now go ahead, vent, count to 10, spin around in circles, blaze what you blaze, drink what you drink. Do whatever it takes, slam your Bible closed, whatever it takes for you to take that comment in. I'll let Richard Walker respond. I saw your response on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Richard Walker.
Okay. It took me a while to even digest this, because the level of ignorance that went along with that comment was just so intense that it took me a while to even process the thought. First of all, who in the hell analyzes fundamentals of defensive linemen?
Other defensive linemen.
Especially on a team like this, where, as crazy as this sounds, that's one of the few bright spots that they got right now. So, but I digress from that.
He digresses.
I digress from that point.
We're
from that part
highly
of it.
intellectual on this show. We digress.
How in the hell
What the hell
can
is
you
digress?
honestly look someone in the eye and say that Antonio Smith is more fundamentally sound? Remember, fundamentals is not necessarily your boxed-in techniques. When we're talking fundamentals, we're talking about the tools that you have in your toolbox.
No, we're not.
JJ Watt.
No. I told you I told you, Travis, I was gonna save it.
No, you're not saving nothing.
You play football. In terms of
Right.
fundamentals and techniques, when coaches talk about fundamentals and technique, they're talking about proper fundamentals and technique. They're not talking about uncoachable attributes.
Let me ask you this.
And things of that. Well, but let's one at a time.
Okay.
Let's be fair to this.
Okay.
Because I know what Travis was saying. I've had fun with it. Well, by the time this conversation is over, you'll understand it. You might not want to admit you understand it or agree with it, but you understand it. And the reason why I know you understand it, you are an offensive lineman. You cannot survive as an offensive lineman without playing proper technique.
Right.
I don't care how talented you are.
Absolutely.
And the reason why Travis is bringing up that point about J.J. Watt is because as a defensive lineman, right now, J.J. Watt can get away. I'm supporting your point right now with bad technique. Because guess why? If J.J. Watt goes high, goes too high on the penetration, and doesn't have proper gap discipline in a particular situation, he's so quick
that he can make up for it.
He's so quick,
Right.
and then he's so explosive once he beats in and zones in, and the satellite has you fixed. He's so. Sometimes he goes over the top too much. He'll go too high. And go,
Yeah,
and
I've seen him out
and,
pursue because he's so damn fast.
But
I
he's
get
so
that.
good.
Right.
He literally not only can make up for that, he can finish it in the backfield for a tackle for a loss.
Right.
He's a freak.
Yep.
But the point that I've heard that Travis is making, our good friend John Harris alluded to the same thing last season when Lamont asked me and John Harris on Twitter, that's at Sports Media LM, one of our HMW members, asked me and John Harris, who you've seen on this show, we call him Coach, asked, give me a criticism of J.J. Watt. Now think about when he asked us that question, because he asked us that question in the middle of the greatest season we've ever seen by a defensive lineman. And we said, well, be honest with you, we both saw the tweets and started responding. When we responded, our tweets were eerily the same. We both talked about, well, if you want to find something, JJ does have a tendency to, and I'll in most layman terms possible, over pursue plays. Now you're saying, well, you're on the defensive line. How's he over pursuing in that 2-3 foot window? Well, I just use that term because that term is easier to understand.
Right.
When I say over pursue, if Richard Walker is blocking me, and I'm on Richard's outside shoulder, because I'm on that outside shoulder, if I try to pursue too far upfield, guess what Richard Walker's going to let me do if he knows the play is going inside?
Yep.
If
He
I
gonna let
want to
you go
run
out.
5, 6, 7 extra yards up the field,
Go ahead.
he's going to help me.
Yep.
Well, when you do that to JJ has the ability to turn back
And cut right back in front of you.
murder somebody. It's a fair criticism of J.J. Watt. Antonio Smith likely is, to the trained eye, a better technique-wise sound NFL player than J.J. Guess what? Why wouldn't he be? How long has he been in the league?
Exactly.
And has Antonio Smith ever had the attributes physically that would allow him to play with bad technique and get away with it like J.J. Watt has? So Travis is right. Richard is right. It's not a situation where no one's wrong. No one's wrong unless you try to prove somebody else wrong in this.
No, I'm not.
Everybody's
I'm just saying,
right. Everybody's right.
On the surface, his comment does not account for the fact.
But we're
that
not on the surface. We're HW.
I
We're the
know.
creeps.
Of course not.
We're the
I'm
creeps.
talking to Travis now. On the surface, here's the thing. Fundamentals are not just inside a box. If you have a different way to get the job done and it works, damn it, do it.
Yeah, but coaches can't coach that. See, coaches can't come and coach J.J. Watt.
You know what? One of the
theory.
biggest criticisms
You know
I have
what
of
I'm
Barry Sanders is one of the makes a strong argument for the greatest running back of all time. Dude never run straight ahead.
Well, with that offensive line,
Yeah,
there wasn't anywhere to go.
There were situations where Barry
Oklahoma
did not even look for the damn hole.
Yeah, but he was David Carr after a while. He just did what he normally.
But the same argument could be made from him, from a pure football purist perspective.
But at Oklahoma State, Barry Sanders took the ball and ran straight downhill with it.
Right. But when I'm
you know what I mean?
I'm talking about his professional career.
But my point
he got
is,
to the point where
why?
Well, same thing with JJ, because he can get away with it.
Exactly.
And then here's the other
JJ
thing.
won't be able to get away with that in 6-7 years.
Couldn't you also say the same thing about Deacon Jones with the head slap? That is that's another tool.
But
instead of a hammer and a saw, this dude got a damn jackhammer.
But he's not saying JJ won't progress, or he's not even saying JJ will regress when he starts to lose some of the physical advantages he has. He's simply saying, right now, today, Antonio Smith is a more sound, technique-wise, player than J.J. Watt. He didn't say he's better right now. Mm-hmm. That's not his point. He's not saying Antonio. No, who would say that?
Nobody in their right mind.
Right? All he's saying is,
I don't know. Travis threw out some crazy comments.
But
before.
Travis said, but the point what he's trying to do is provide some type of a clarification to why maybe some of the production to the untrained eye that may not be there with Watt. But what we know is, those of us that really pay close attention to this and go back and watch and rewatch, we know that a couple things are happening. That number one is teams have more film on Watt.
They're scheming
playing
big time.
Watt differently. Not only are they dedicating double and sometimes triple teams to him, they're also, look at the Rams. The Rams just said, man, forget it. They ran away from him all game long. It was like, if you're going to make any tackles today, JJ, if you're going to do anything,
you're going to come to the other side of the field and
it'll be the back of my jersey, brother.
Yep.
So when a person like Travis Johnson, listen, I love this. I love that Travis Johnson said that, because it provided, the moment I heard him say it, I said, this is an awesome platform for some great sports talk. Because I knew the moment he said it, even trained people that know football, their mind was just going to blow up, and they weren't going to be able to think straight in the midst of the flames and the smoke. But all he said was, Antonio Smith is a better sound player technique-wise right now than J.J. Watt. No criticism, no knocking it. All he says is right now, today, a guy that's been in the league 10 years is better at this one thing than this guy that's been here two years. That's all he said. You know what I mean? That was it. How about that? Where else can you get that explanation for what he wanted to term as a ridiculous statement by my man Travis Johnson? We'll get Travis on the show. We'll get Travis on the show. And Travis and Richard Walker, big asses.
If we got to, we can put the pads on. I think I can still block him. I mean, neither one of us went that far in our careers. All right, no.
We got that on tape. Hey, hang in there, it's the cut. We'll be right back.